Welcome, I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjitsu Master and Mystic Messenger. Everything that I share and say and do is for a reason. If there sounds like a contradiction, there isn't. Investigate further. I hope you're all doing well out there. Blessings and love to you all. Again, I'm not part of any religious belief system or secret society. I'm all about the truth. Now, I'm jumping on here because I've just had a dream. I'm going to record, share and document it. You can still see the marks of the bed in my head from being flat out on my face. I've got to share this dream. I've not had a dream like this for a long time. So I want to record it all while it's fresh. So I'm downstairs in my sitting room. I wake up in this dream, but not at first. I'm downstairs as though I'm going about my daily activities. I noticed my dog that has passed away is in the sitting room. And I'm in the sitting room, missing like Senai, aware that I miss Senai. And here he is, and I'm hugging him, and I'm saying, I miss you, Senai. And then I looked at my wall in the sitting room where I have my two whiteboards where I do my research, and they are removed off the wall. Bear with me, I've got to make sure I get every detail down, every bit of this dream down. There was a lot going on in this dream. It was like I was experiencing a Mandela effect on steroids. And so I'm like, hang on a minute, Zenai, you're here. And the boards are taken off the wall. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. And I look around. I'm paying attention to my environment and all the details. What else has changed? There is big changes. I can see the changes. I go out into the kitchen. The kitchen is different. And I come upstairs and their loved ones are there and they're getting ready to go out. And I come back downstairs because as I'm upstairs, that's right, I ask, did you take the boards off the wall? And I said, yeah. So I come down a bit confused. But on my returning to the sitting room, I've got my dining room in my sitting room. The dining room table has changed. And I know. I'm like, right. This is a dream. But because of my past experiences doing thought exercises with dreams with Father, I know I've got to approach this in a subtle way. That may sound strange. Because who can tell? Because I learned doing certain exercises with Father, when you shift realms or wake up in a dream, how can you distinguish between that which is real and the dream world, etc.? I hope that makes sense. And I'm now knowing, have I shifted or am I in a dream? All right, I hope this makes sense. I go out the back door and there's this strong wind blowing and it gets behind me and it's like it blows my sails. And I know how to fly, but I'm letting the wind take me. And it makes me hover over the garden and I see this like a crop circle. It's like this flower bed and its arrangement like wheat in a certain pattern. This certain pattern is the pattern. Do you remember I gave the presentation of the flower of life and the other pattern we received, which to my mind was like an activation within our chakras? I mentioned in my channel, it's like the door opens up, the net opens up, we go through and the net closes, and I'm hovering over it. Bear this in mind. You notice these 3 marks over the right eye. I land, I get back into the house, and I noticed there's these strange now boards on the wall, and there's all these like screws, like everything's been unscrewed. I'm like, what is going on? And Sanai is gone again. So I go speak to a loved one, and I feel as though I'm trying to explain something, like I got to get a message across. I go back into the sitting room. Now, bear with me. As I'm explaining, after I've explained to a loved one, I'm coming back in, reflecting upon it. And I realise that's one out of many. That may sound strange. And for some reason, there's this interaction. And I'm in this, should we say, dream world for a reason. But I'm noticing things are changing drastically, very quick. And I'm about to leave again. And I know it. So I'm walking around, going to the kitchen. I come into the sitting room again, taking all details, awake. And I'm like, right. So here I am. I'm aware. How do I get back, or how do I get out of this? And just as I was saying that, I wake up. Literally go from one world, my consciousness, from being awake in that one into this one. And I knew that's how the shift, the transitioning is going to occur. What's strange is I'm groaning, bursting at the seams. And when I come out of that world and woke up on my bed, I was like, oh my God, thank God for that. And yet, if it's about to happen again, I'll be saying the same. Thank God for that. The walls were changing. Okay, my screen that I pay attention to, as I mentioned in the channel, it changes. Your cubic reality, it's going to change in its attire. In its entirety, the projections that you observe through your five senses. I'm telling you guys, when you are awake, being hypersensitive in this state, being who I am now, after everything I've been through in a dream world, when I'm there, everything is like this world. Literally everything. I've done 4 exercises with Father, being sentient and awake in these dream worlds, exploring every little detail, the physics, everything in them. Apart from these strange anomalies that act as triggers to wake me up within a dream, like flying, or Zenai, my dog, who made an appearance, as though Father is getting a message across, is we're about to shift. We must be prepared because it won't take us by surprise. Like I said in the channel, it won't be a surprise if I just wake up home. Now, I've stated I don't know how subtle or abrupt the transformation may unfold. But with everything I've learned about reality, consciousness, and reality being fluid, I understand about matter now and light, spirit, to a greater degree, which many are going to find very hard to comprehend. I'm talking about a quantum conscious jump from one age into another here, and trying to articulate and convey from this dream. There was these abrupt changes that started happening, just like that, one after the other. And it was giving me a sign we're about to wake up to a greater degree and get taken up. So in the dream, there was like 3 stages. And each stage was more of a abrupt transformation I noticed. Until then, I woke up on my bed again. I'm recording and documenting, so if there's any of these same patterns that occur, I know a big shift is about to happen. I said to you guys, do not worry about your present state, the state of your body and the state that you are in. The midnight cry, there's deeper layers to it. What happens when you're in a dream and you're crying out? When it's a nightmare, you wake up. With what we have experienced with the world, it's horrible. With what I've shared with you in regards to people shifting from an incident that they are unaware of because they've gone through a forgetfulness where they've shifted. With what I've been explaining and with what I am receiving at the moment, is though I'm getting a message, it's about to happen again on a big scale. Remember, I mentioned in the Bible, there's a lot about dreams. Many are completely unaware of this, especially if you're new to the channel. When Adam was put to sleep to remove a rib, the inside, there's no mention of Adam waking up until we get the presentation of the last trumpet. The more that you pay attention to the dreams throughout the Bible, with again Jacob's ladder, there's all these Bibles that talks about the dream state that we find ourselves in, traversing through the shadow century copy reality. The more that we die, the more that we wake up within the dream, within the journey. Many of us are born again of the Spirit, becoming aware, awake, as it tells us in the Bible. They're living amongst the dead. So how do we get from here back home? A place we know exists in our heart. You're going to wake up like that. A memory and everything else will be there waiting for you. Now again, I record and document it because you just wouldn't believe it. Just like I've learned, when you are a dream and you wake up in it, especially being God's peculiar individual, his peculiar people, when Father showed me the dream state, how you could be completely convinced in a world that's all around you, completely unaware that you're from elsewhere. Do you see where I'm going? I've noticed more and more videos about the glitches happening in, should we say, reality. And I've said this as well, the timelines are colliding. This is partly true. It is true. I've mentioned it. There's more to it. As you can see, I'm still waking up. Because what we are seeing is the dream collapsing. If you know anything about the sacred and forbidden texts, a lot of the secret texts that was hidden from the public for generations about the entities. You may have heard this presentation about the demons and entities that make their appearance when we are sleeping. Of course, many have misinterpreted it because it's talking about us in these worlds when we're sleeping, yet we're somewhat awake. These entities that move through the dream worlds. Very similar presentation in what Thoth is revealing. Their only existence is in the world of darkness, the sleep of the night, and we're not drunk of the night, asleep. See the words that I'm using here? Remember the movie Labyrinth? When she wakes up Everyone's there. Everything's okay. The same as The Wizard of Oz and all these other movies. Now, I did receive a comment from someone. Again, working under that frequency of an adversary, you can't really rely on the Hollywood movies, etc. I am not going by predictive programming. I'm going by what Spirit has revealed to me studying simology. If you've been following me long enough, you know what it is that I'm actually referring to in regards to using the symbols from movies. Because as I've stated in my videos, I've learned about the psychological drama, about consciousness, about our journeys as our souls with Spirit back to our source. Our soul is connected with the moon, which is translated as the traveller. We've been in the duat, the underworld, these worlds of profound sleep, the sleep mentioned in the Egyptian mysteries. The duat, where everything's averted, we're upside down, we're asleep. When many die in the dream state, as I've experienced in my dreams, you literally wake up in another dream, in another world. Only the conditions are different because you are a solar being on a journey, thrown into the matrix, into the mind of God. And you traverse through a particular timeline where there's a forming, a process that you are going through. Nonetheless, fundamentally, the principles and states are there, that which is equivalent to traversing through dreams until you come into reality, the awake state, being sentient. I listened to these near-death experiences over the years where the individual is showing it's all been a fictitious dream, but why did they not get home? And why so many sent back? I understand why, because the only way back is through the investment and coming into truth, because no one gets to the Father, that authentic original blueprint, yourself, but through the Son. You need to wake up. Yes, there is exceptions. I'm aware of that. For these old souls who are sent to share a message, but no one pays any attention to these individuals, and you will see they're quite recluse and on their own. You see them and then they're gone. You hear about people disappearing all the time. You hear about people reappearing and then they're taken away by the authorities. Like I said, it's a complex field. There's a lot going on. I'm aware in giving this presentation, it can make one wobble because it's going to open a can of worms, and so many questions arise from the philosophical standpoint of reality in regards to dreams. Yet I understand the journey, the sleep state, the conversion, and should we say the converging through the space-time continuum until we've played our roles to waking up into that authentic original blueprint, the return home. Now remember the law of return. We got to wake up into that reality where everyone is happy, the authentic original blueprint. The reason we're seeing so much going on with reality at the moment, and things are not what they seem, it's a stage. It's though the matrix, the dream state, the world, the journey is collapsing. We're getting the same triggers and message signs as though one would wake up from a dream. Are we not crying out as though we're in a nightmare dream? Absolutely. And what comes next from this cry? And God's with us no matter where we are, as I mentioned in the channel. When I would go to bed and start dreaming, when I become hypersensitive, Father activated something in me. He started taking me through these exercises within the dream world. And I would look in a shop and add everything you would find in a shop. There's water, there's these tastes and pain and all the things you experience in this world. And he was revealing to me the shallow sensory copy states, the world's realms that we traverse through, being asleep playing as the first earthly man, Adam. Remember I said this? You didn't think he's in the realm of the flesh, did you? You're in the realm of the spirit. That's if indeed the Christ is in you. If not, you go around in darkness. Now there's more to this. Remember, the Bible is full of mysteries. It's for God to consider things, and for the kings, those who are solar beings, those who are real, with the Christ within them, those that open the matrix belong to the Lord. This is all revealed to you. You ever heard this quote? Blessed is he who wakes up before he dies. What do you think that's referring to? Because when you die, you go from one dream to the next, one state. And some who are on this particular process return to earth in that very instant, and their plans, thoughts perish. There's a forgetfulness, and they carry on the journey in the matrix. And we are being watched in these states. And my mind can handle all this perfectly well. Others, they struggle, they wobble. Their minds are not ready to handle this type of perception about reality. They like the vivid, concrete, set reality. They couldn't bear to mind that they would be in a very fictitious, shallow sensory dream world, and that is what they've labelled as reality. Neville Goddard mentioned this with an experience he had with a friend when Neville knew there was these worlds, these realms, dream states, and he was trying to explain to one individual who found it very hard, and he grabbed onto his table and said, Neville, I find your presentations very interesting, but I like my vivid, concrete reality. And he was pushing his hands into the table and rubbing his feet into the carpet. And Neville could see that he wasn't ready to accept that the world he's been in is fictitious. It's a dream state. You're on a journey. Now, as I mentioned, many are confused. What is going on with the world? And they can't seem to fathom the bizarre things that's going on with reality because of their lack of knowledge and wisdom. Their reality, what they're saying, they can't understand the world anymore, the reality. Because the world that we used to reside in, the dream states, is changed so drastically with all the strange anomalies and bizarre presentations on the world stage, which has aroused many to awaken. They are confused. Now, there's this presentation that's just come to mind from Neville, where he was in a dream and he was awake in his dream, and yet he was given a talk to like a large audience, and Neville was trying to explain to this audience he is dreaming them, and one individual become agitated by it and started screaming at Neville, and Neville was like, well, you carry on, I'm about to wake up, and you all disappear. And I understood what Neville was getting at. Only years later, in everything I've learned and the state that I'm in now, I've grasped it to a greater degree. And even what I'm saying, many are going to struggle or wobble, because I keep saying you must put precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, put video upon video, put all the material that you learn to mind when listening to each video. Don't just think about the concepts you learn in one video. Think about everything I have been saying and overlay it, and things will start to make sense. The screws everywhere in my dream. It's reality becoming, well, should we say the dream state becoming undone. It's literally what you would term the end of the dream, the end of the journey. And so I will not be surprised if we were to suddenly wake up elsewhere. This is the bit I don't know how we're going to bridge across back to this state, whether it be subtle and it's slowly erect around us where we're coming to remembrance with the veils being lifted, because there is these precepts, these verses, this text given to us that those who are, again, the celestials, the process in which they emerge back home is, let me make sure I get this right. It's different to the individuals that come into the dream worlds, into the matrix to play their roles, then go through a eventuality that led to them waking up, like a near-death experience. Only they don't come back. These are the peculiar people, as Thoth mentions, who lay down their bodies to be amongst men, yet not like men. When you wake up from this world, everything will make sense. Out of this journey comes great wisdom. And you're going to see yourself in a society completely different from anything you've ever experienced being in these dream states, in these realms, these ages. Absolutely, totally different. With comparison, you will see it was all a bad nightmare. Playing as Adam or Cain in the land of Nod, many are about to shift. After going through the 7 eyes of the Lamb, being awake before we passed, where we put on incorruptibility, immortality, in the particular states that we are in, our transitioning now is unique and it's covered up to the world. Of course, with us sharing, it aggravates the entities we see upon the screen. The thoughts personified in our dreams become aggravated. Do we not see this today with many individuals who are, should we say, waking up, sharing the truths that they get, and they come under attack straight away? Why? If you watch the allegory in Inception, when the conscious is becoming aware that you are now creating and playing with the dream, everyone starts looking at you because you are making changes. In the movie Free Guy, when he starts to order a different brand of hot drink and everyone starts looking at him because you are changing the patterns within the dream. A patterns only the thoughts personified can understand, because it's part of the matrix, the mind itself. It works in sequences, patterns. Does not your train of thought or processes interaction with reality work in a sequence and certain pattern familiar to the way that you go about traversing your daily activities? A thought arises and you know that certain processes must be applied first for a particular outcome. Only when you start changing this to a greater degree, being a sentient aware being, you get a reaction. Why do you think so many individuals are so consumed by technology? Because they're formed from the mind, the matrix, the children of the matrix itself. Like attracts like is known to like alone. By the fruits they bear, you'll recognize them. As I've mentioned, so much in my immediate environment is projections from myself. At a further afield, it's the shared server, the timelines I'm passing through. And yet, I'm on my bed and I don't actually go anywhere. But I've got a projected form, a digital, what's the best way? In fact, it's a quote from the Matrix. What's he say? A digital projection from that which is already an authentic, original blueprint. Hence Neil, when he's awake, he's got these sockets. When he's plugged into the matrix, they're gone. I see the allegory behind that too. Of course, I'm going deeper into the mysteries and even sharing this presentation from my dream with what I've learned, and the way that I'm presenting things is to a greater degree, and it's going to cause many to wobble in the things that I'm saying. They're going to be aggravated. So if anything, just go over the video and think about the concepts, think about the presentation. Many, they say, they don't dream. Many cannot even visualize. We're part of something very unique, having the veils lifted. I've been studying day and night since the year 2011. Having knowledge exposed to me about where I am and the true nature of it, that took me sometimes 3 days to get over, because you just wouldn't believe it. And just like myself in a dream, fully aware I'm in a dream, but yet I'm still doubting at first that I'm in this dream. I know something's going on, and things have to change in an abrupt way that wakes me up within it. And like I said, when I woke up on the bed, I was like, thank God. And a true will be saying again with our shift. It's crazy. I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjitsu Master and Mystic Messenger. As I mentioned, this hasn't been reality. Far from it. For those who are sentient, real, aware, walking with the Father, this is what you are being shown. The shift that's coming, you're going to find yourself in a world like this world, yet not like this world. Back home. Love you guys. Have a great day.